So, all right, we're recording now. Okay, so on the form that some of us filled before we got here, I asked how many people knew about Git and GitHub, and a lot of people said they haven't used it before. Some other people said they know the basics of GitHub. So today we're going to go over that basics of GitHub that we will need for the training and for application in real life, because this is basically almost everything I use. So these are the general class rules that we're all familiar with. The mics should be muted. I'm always looking at the chat box, so feel free to drop a question anytime at all. You can also raise your hands, and as usual, note down things. All right. All right, so we're starting from Git. There is Git and there is GitHub, and it's something that we've heard a lot of times, but Git is not GitHub. It's just two different ideas. Now, Git, the whole idea of Git is for us to be able to track our code changes. What I mean by code changes, let's assume some people here are not seasoned programmers, right? But everybody here must have written an essay, motivation letter, essay in school, whatever it is, your project. There's this thing that happens where you write a paragraph and the paragraph is nice, but then you want to change the paragraph. So you change the paragraph and probably remember that the previous paragraph was better, and then you probably Ctrl Z your way back. Some people create multiple versions of these documents. At least I know I did that a lot when writing projects or essays. You now control copy, this is one copy, this is another copy, so you can merge from different places and all of that. Now the problem is this thing gets quickly messy, because you have a situation where you have so many different files and you need to keep track of where what is and where what isn't. In this case, we now use a version control system. So you can have one file, but you have like a timeline, and then you can jump back into time and see what you did, what you changed, and then what you need to like fix up. So as we go on, you would find out that, okay, yeah, this is actually what Git, the whole idea of Git initially. Yeah. And because we can now jump back in time, it's more like this time machine that keeps history. Another thing we can also do with Git is we can now collaborate with other people. We've heard of for the people that have like downloaded codes, we go to GitHub, we download codes. The code comes exactly how it is, or exactly how it was on the author's side, excluding the idea of a Git ignore, which we'll get into later on. But basically, the code on his side is the code you get. So that way we can share codes around. And also we'll see why this is extremely important. Now then there is GitHub. Initially, we know that Git is a version control system. This is exactly what Git is, just code control and track time. But then there is GitHub. GitHub is built on top of Git. What happens now is, when you're using GitHub, GitHub is basically using Git, but it's just giving it some extra functionalities. So one of the major changes is for Git is on your local machine. Like the analogy I gave for your final year project, all the essays are actually on your local machine. So except maybe you are uploading them to your drive or something, but like Git is on the local machine. And then GitHub steps this up by putting it on the let's say like a cloud, right? So everybody can join hands together and actually edit it, and like you would have a central place. It's not really a central place because you have copies, but like you'd have a place where you know that, okay, yeah, everybody can put things and you show off your codes. Then GitHub also tried to, because there are other types of Git providers, right? But they took things up a notch. You have places where you'd have people can talk, people can make comments, and then you have a whole lot of things. So it's just like a social media on its own, right? So it has gotten to a point where GitHub now, when people say Git, what comes in mind first is GitHub. Because GitHub is actually more like a social media. It's like this big platform. And then when you're submitting CVs, you submit your GitHub link, because like this is like a showcase of things that I have done. So For Git, it runs on your local machine. It tracks changes in files. We've covered that. It works offline. You don't need your data to be connected to Git. And then for the GitHub now, it's a platform, online cloud. We've gone over all these things. So someone is trying to join. All right. So version control basically keeps record of files. You go back in time when you want to, bug tracking, a lot of different things. Now these are other types of Git. We have GitLab. GitLab is also very popular, right? There's Bitbucket. SourceForge was one of the first to ever exist. Like back then, we're like downloading things off SourceForge. Basically, it's like that. There are some projects that are on GitHub that were initially on SourceForge. We work with some of them like that, like move from SourceForge into GitHub and things like that. Now you can see Git and there's SVN. Now the thing about computing is, while these things does not directly relate with robotics, it's good to have this large knowledge set, because from time to time it helps you. It doesn't really help you to move a robot, but it helps you understand things you are dealing with. Now, why I'm saying this, because for Git, I said you have your copy on your local machine, and then GitHub enables you to have a copy on cloud. So it's decentralized, right? You have your own copy, they call it source of truth, that's yours, and then there's like another source of truth on GitHub, right? But for SVN means subversion. For SVN, every single thing is on the cloud. You retain no copy of it. Now, this is more like an older form of doing things, but just know that there's centralized, there's distributed. Centralized is like SVN, everything is just on one place, and you guys are working there. So if that central system fails, nobody really retains a copy of it. And then we have Azure. I've worked with Azure a bit, so it's pretty much the same thing, but it's like Microsoft for like DevOps and all those pipelines and things you probably must have heard, and then the rest of them, right? But there is no reason whatsoever to use all of them. GitHub will do you just fine, except some specifics that you might need for other things, but GitHub is good to go. So my assumption is everybody has a GitHub account, but for some people that say they've never used GitHub, then there is a possibility that there is no GitHub account. And the way I do things, if you've never created a GitHub account, creating the account is pretty straightforward, right? All you need to do is you go to GitHub in your browser. This is like a guide. I'll share the PDF with everybody, so I don't think it's necessary to like read all this over and over again. But it doesn't take much time. I don't know if you would want to create the GitHub account on the class or later on. So whichever it is, you just follow the guide and it's straightforward. But for this is something that we have to actually do together, because there's some people that we installed ROS, we installed Ubuntu, we installed a whole different things, right? This place talks about GitHub, but this is about Git. You can have a GitHub account, but you'll be able to use the whole GitHub setup on your PC, because you ought to have Git first before you can work with GitHub. So let me just give a little demo of what all this is about. Um, all right, so it's actually going to be helpful if you can follow along. Now I understand that there is WSL. Some people are on WSL. Some people are on native Ubuntu. When I say native Ubuntu, it means you did a dual boot or you completely removed Windows. So there's WSL, there's native Ubuntu, right? For those with WSL, ultimately you're on a Windows machine. While you can run Git in WSL, for the case of this setup, we're going to use the Git on Windows. The reason being that I want you to grab the concept on a simpler environment before we move to WSL. So for those on native Ubuntu, the command is sudo apt install git. First of all, those on native Ubuntu, are we actually on the call? Like, is there anybody with native Ubuntu? Ah, okay. There's native Ubuntu. And you guys will follow along, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, right. Let's go practical then. I have two machines. I have to. Okay, you know what? Let me just start from scratch. Like create a GitHub account for those that don't have a GitHub account. Okay. So I stop sharing here, and then I share here. Okay, so we're starting from creating the GitHub account. For those that don't have a GitHub account, it's pretty straightforward. GitHub.com, and then you have sign in, you have sign up, and we're signing up, right? So you can sign up with your Google accounts, or you can just fill out this form. And for some reasons, I don't know why it's showing Russian Federation, but wherever you are, you just get things done. It's pretty straightforward, right? So while you are doing that, we will be working on those that already have GitHub, right? So I'm on a Windows machine now, so I'll just get things done for the Windows guys. All right, Git SMC common. All right, I'll put this in the chat. Git installation for oh, okay, yeah. Someone already put for Linux. So you head over here and you download for Windows. It's this button here. So you probably won't miss it. Now, which of these are you doing? X64. Because that's the most common Windows architecture. So I'm guessing everybody's on an X64. It downloads and just like I install every other thing, you install it. Install. So I hope nobody's going to experience any complication because this is a pretty straightforward drill. All right, so while that is installing, for Linux, someone dropped the procedure, but let me just reiterate on it. Sudo apt install git -y, and then Git version is just to check if it's installed correctly. All right, so we're done here. I'll just finish it, and I can close this. I don't need that. Okay, so I would want to check if it's actually installed. So I do git. I don't think. Okay, it's installed. Git version, and we have Git installed on Windows, right? If you are using WSL, please use your Windows terminal. We'll do WSL later on. I just want you to get the basic concept first. So we have Git on Windows, right? If anybody runs into any issue, please notify me. Then for Linux, you follow the same process, you get the same thing. Now for Mac, there are two procedures for Mac, and the one I recommend is use Homebrew. I think I've installed Homebrew for every Mac user, excluding one person. I didn't have time for that, but you should still be able to follow up. Install Git. It's just one command, and then you confirm the version, Git version. Eniola, if you dual boot, do you have to install Gazebo, ROS all over again? Yes, I think that's pretty simple, because you installed it in another operating system. You installed it in Windows, even if it's on WSL. WSL is running in Windows, so you're on a new operating system, the dual boot. So you have to install it again, right? But don't, if that's your case, don't do that now. Just follow up with Git. You're just dramatic. If that's your case, sorry, can we run this on our Ubuntu? Yes, you can run it on your Ubuntu. I dropped for Ubuntu. Or should I just drop it in the group? This is for Linux or Ubuntu. Linux is a kernel. Ubuntu is built on it. If you want me to be technical, so see, sorry, multiple screens. Okay, so let me proceed, because we have a lot of understanding to do today. All right, we're back to our slide. So this is for Ubuntu. I've already dropped it in the chat, so you can copy it. This is for Windows. I did it live here with you. Okay, done. All right. Then this is for Mac. All right. Now there are some things that I have to clarify. I do not really. It's not really mandatory you understand them now, because we are going to do it, like look at it practically. But for GitHub, remember I said you have it on your local, and then you have in cloud, right? So the idea of GitHub is, okay, hey, we want to be able to like store this on the cloud too, so everybody can make changes, and like, it's on the cloud. There are some couple of steps it takes from your local repo to your cloud. So know that, okay, yeah, you are here, you need to get like to your cloud, right? Everything in between is what we are going to explain now. So we have what is called a working directory. Working directory is on your disks, what you're actually doing. Let me share my screen. So I will give a I'll give a better example. All right, this is my whole screen, right? So let's open this, for example. Let's open a new folder called Git class. Right? Now this is just okay. This is what we are working on. You see this blank folder, it's the same on Windows, the same on Linux, the same everywhere. This folder is where you want to put your codes in. This is where you want to work. This folder is called your working directory. This is it, your home documents. This, it has your class part and everything. It's your working directory. And then we create a new, okay, so this is Linux. If it was maybe Word, you can just create new file, it's the same thing. So let me create, let's say git.python. Now let's assume this is the code you are working on, right? I can print hello, I am using GitHub, right? Just something simple. So this is your code in your working directory. Now let's go back to the explanation. Working directory, your files on disk. Your disk is your hard drive, and now we have our file here on disk. For those people that already know all of these, sorry that I'm repeating it over and over again, but a good amount of people are not really familiar with the terms. And now we have staging area. Staging area now is, think of it as your cart. So you go on Jumia, you can see the different products. Those products are not yours yet. That is what this file is. It's not yet on your cloud, it's just on your laptop. Now staging area is where you now say, okay, these are the things I want to take to my repo. Now for staging, how did I create the Python file? Are you for real? I mean, just create a file. Are you on Linux, or are you on, if you're on Windows, it's just okay, fine. Let's please, you have a question, just go ahead and say it. I can see someone raising his hand. I'll be raising a hand. Okay, you're on Linux, right? So I'm already on my Windows machine, right? So I'll do for Windows. I'll also come and show you for Linux. So this is my Windows
Hi,
machine. Yeah, what's up?
I'm fine. The last command you put in the chat box, for Git, that Git dash dash
Version?
and version, is
Yeah.
it just to check the version?
Yeah. It's just check the version. The idea is we are just checking to be sure that Git was installed.
Okay, so what are we supposed to get? Because I don't understand. Like, I have a lot of things here.
Okay,
Is
please
it
share your
online?
screenshot. What did you get?
Oh, I'm using a different laptop, so I
I mean, it's you're on Ubuntu, right?
Yes, I'm on Ubuntu. Like, it's
Good.
showing me about 5 lines.
I need to see those 5 lines. That's my point. So you can send it to my DM if you don't want to maybe publicly share it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Right? Good. Now someone has put the version. The version number, it's not a big deal for us right now, right? Just to be sure that okay, yeah, you have it. If Git was not installed, no version number would show. So this is on a Windows. Okay, while installing Git, what text editor? Did they actually select text editor? Please, if you can talk, just explain what is going on exactly, because I don't know why you're selecting the text editor for installing Git. Okay,
Yeah,
so
in the course of going through the installation, there's one of these points where I'm to select which editor, whether Vim, Notepad, Visual Studio. So I
which
mean
OS are you using?
by default it's Vim. Which OS? Windows
Which
10.
which is the yeah, just I don't know, just choose anything. It's not really a big deal for now. Because text editor, they didn't ask me that. Right, I just installed for Windows 10. But okay. Send a screenshot. Let me just be sure. Send a screenshot.
Okay.
Send a screenshot. So like I need to be guided. All right. So someone said what? Krishna, yeah, like image. I made a file Git class. Then after opening it in the terminal, how do I make it? No. It's you don't make it into a working directory. I'm just explaining what a working directory is. That's that place where the file is the working directory, right? So I'm assuming there's something in my DM. Okay, she hasn't sent it. All right. If you're using WSL, Isaac, if you're using WSL, I said use Windows, right? If you're using WSL, use Windows. You can use Git on WSL itself, but you would have to use Windows first. There's a reason why I want you to use Windows. The reason is, even though you might not really understand until we get there, is that your Windows machine and WSL are two different machines. So when you actually pushing from Windows and pushing from WSL, there's a procedure we call SSH authentication that would have to do two different times because there are two different machines. We will get there. The problem is if you get it done on your WSL, we are going to use Visual Studio at the end of this class. So if you get done on WSL, you cannot run Visual Studio directly on WSL. You can, but I don't advise it because building VS Code GUI is complicated on WSL. So you are going to run Visual Studio from Windows at the end of the day. Although the work happens in like the robotic work happens in WSL. It's a long story, but all in all, WSL users, please use Windows for your Git. As for choose a default. Da, 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 da. Just I don't know. Leave it as Vim. Leave it as Vim. Leave it as Vim. It's not something we would really use. Well, 'cause we're not using the text editor either ways. We live in the terminal. All right. So moving forward, I'm going to create a new file. You need to know how I hate using GUIs. Just touch work here. Touch. Uh, git git.py. Yeah, touch does not work here. Okay, notepad. And then just print. I mean, this is a very basic thing to do. It's just creating a file. Hello, I am using Git. Okay. Then we save it in our documents. Git class. Then we save it as Git. So either ways, we have it here. Look at it, Python source file. We have it here, git.py. If you click on it, I think it executes. Okay, no, it opens this. Okay, so we have files on both operating systems. Now, let's go back to the slide. Okay, so David is first. This uses ssh.ext. Um, this uses external this. It will not install its own open. So use the first one. Just use the first one. That's for David. Though. Use the first one. It seems there are different versions of Git, so they're asking different things. Because I've never had to. I've used Git from Bash only or Git from command line. I don't understand the question. All right, so Tracy, please, I don't understand the question. Probably just rephrase or something. All right. Entire screen again. So I've explained the working directory. Working directory is where the files are, and just like on your Windows, this space is our working directory. Anything we put here is going to be in our working directory. Now, as I said, before we go into the remote repo, that's before we push to GitHub, we move from our working directory, we move to like a staging area for our carts, and then from there we move to our local repository. This is because it's only from the local repository that we can move to the remote repository. The remote repository is the GitHub per se. A repository is your group of codes, like your folder containing your code. So when you say a remote repository would be GitHub, GitLab, whatever, right? I'm explaining this because we want to go over that step. All right, so have everybody set up just like give a thumbs up or something. Let me be sure that I'm going to move together with people that have already set up GitHub. Okay, I have somebody. Please mute your, I don't know, is that Saeed? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I sent. Okay. So what is the difference between Bash and terminal? So a terminal is think of it as a portal to a laptop. Think of it as a mechanism. Think of it as a mechanism that you use for sending commands, right? Almost everything can be done in the terminal. Now, Bash is a command processor, right? There is C bash, there is ZSH. There are different kinds of command processors. So terminal is the general name, and then bash is like the actual command processor that runs the terminal. So that's the two different things. Now, Windows uses bash. Different flavors of Linux have different things they use, but mostly Linux still uses bash RC. Mac uses Z and ZSH, something like that. So that's by the way. All right, so people indicated that they were with me. So let's proceed. Now from our working directory, in order to get to where's the file? All right, we're in the working directory. In order to get to the cat, we do git add. This is the command. Now, let's assume this is our cat, which is our staging. We now move to the local repo, which is the place where we can move from local repo to like remote repo, right? And then we commit it. From commit, we now push to remote repo, right? But I just realized we can't do this now because it's work on my end. It won't work on your own end because we have to set up a couple of other things. Then this brings us to configuration of Git. if you want to push to GitHub, you see this working directory to staging is possible. Staging to commit is possible without necessarily configuring because you are in your local. But the moment you want to write to cloud, GitHub needs to know who is writing and if the person that is writing has the rights to write. So the thing is, I can give you my repo. I can give everybody's repo is public, except you set it to private. But everybody's repo is like on GitHub, right? Meaning you can just take somebody's repo and like push to it. But Git tries to or Git prevents that. Meaning it has to identify who is pushing and if the person can push to this particular repo. So that is where we now do our configuration. For configuration, all operating systems have the same command: git configure or config global username. This is the command, right? And then you put in your username for GitHub. And then you run the second one, the command, and then you put your email address. Now I have already done it, but doing it again would look like this. Let's take this terminal. Okay, this doesn't work in terminal. I can make it bigger in terminal. So basically, git config global user.name, and then my username is Bakel. If you don't know your username, this is where you get your username from. You just go to your GitHub repository. Let's say this is GitHub, and then you click this. Come, let me make it bigger. So this is your username, Bakel, not the one underneath, the one that is here. So that's how you get your username. Okay, so I'll put this username, and then the second is git config email. Git config user email, and then your email address. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to wait a little. Right? I think I can also do it on Windows. It's still the same procedure on Windows. Ifeanyichukwu, you can actually you can type it in your command prompt. I mean, git bash it's just like a command prompt that is already sourced with Git, but like it's just your command prompt will be just fine. Now, where did I see my username? Just go to your GitHub. At the top right corner, you are going to see at the top right corner, you're going to see your username. Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay, yeah, great. So this is the command. Let me do it on my own now. I'll share screen. Okay. So, this have Bakel. Okay. That works pretty smooth. Then you put your username. User.email. Okay, that works pretty smooth. All right. So I have it set up on Windows 2. That's a plus. After inputting the commands in Bash, what should happen next? No, nothing will happen. You won't get any output. You just hit it, and the first one, no output. The second one, no output. You're just setting your name, basically. That's all you're doing. Right, this is my command prompt. Someone requested for that, so that's my command prompt. All right, so I'll just chill for like 4 minutes. Should be enough time for everybody to catch up to where we are.
Excuse me, please.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so I typed the first command for the configuration, and I'm not getting anything.
You're not supposed to get anything. I've said that before. It just
Oh,
saves your name. So do the first one, do the second one.
okay. Okay. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
So I don't understand. And you're like, what do you mean the dual booters have to reconfigure? Did you ever reconfigure before? I think since most of us are on Windows, I could as well just continue on Windows machine. You have GitHub on your Windows. Yes, thank you very much, Samuel. You would have to reconfigure the same thing you did. Like you installed ROS before on your WSL in Windows. Since you've dual booted, you have to reconfigure on your operating system, the new operating system, which is Ubuntu. Everything that happened in Windows is in Windows. It's like gone, except you open up Windows again. So you
Excuse me. I've done the second command and I'm still not seeing anything.
yes, they are
What
not supposed to
that?
see. They're not supposed to see anything.
Oh,
Uh, I-
even for the second
yes.
command.
Yes, even for the
Oh,
second command, I mean, I did it here and I also didn't see anything. It's
oh, sorry,
the
I
command
did not
just, yeah,
notice. I was looking.
no, no,
Okay.
it's perfectly fine. Which one? The second, the second. Um, are you for real? I have to log in. Literally my documents. Fast forward the current branch to fetch the branch when possible. Yes, first one. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody have gotten up to speed. Is after sudo apt install git, what next? You are going to do, I mean, you already have it installed. Every other thing is just to confirm that it's installed. So git version.
Um,
Uh,
please, what is up to date. Like,
No
is
worry, I'll
it
explain.
after typing the
Is
two commands?
it's not it's not that okay, you're not the one that sent that to me. What do you mean by up to date?
Like, I'm asking. You said you want to wait till everybody is up to date.
Oh, like I mean, till you've done the config, you've done the git config, right?
Yes, but nothing. No, like just
Nothing
no.
how.
Nothing happened. Like I just
Yes, yes. Wait, yeah, the person that made the same comments that
um,
nothing happened, right?
yes, yes. I'm sorry. Like I'm just
Yes,
like
I
I was
know.
expecting to see like something.
You don't see
Yes.
per every time. You don't see it every. You see, everybody's laughing. You can imagine. You don't see it every time. Come on. Git credential. Use cross from Git credential. Yeah. Okay. So moving on. Git config. How did you manage to miss the hyphen? You missed in the second command. All right. Anybody that hasn't gotten to this point, you try and catch up. Um, hey, back to the slide.
Sorry, Auntie's hand has been up since. I don't know if she wants to say something.
I said, please, if your hand is up, just go ahead and say it, please, because don't, I might not be able to.
Okay, and I'm still trying to do the GitHub, sorry, the Git installation, the setting.
I assume you're the one in my DM too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been replying you now. Did I? Oh, I didn't reply you since like 5 minutes ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've installed it now. The installation is done, so just do the git config. Let me just drop it in your DM. Times GitHub is wizardry. It can get really confusing. Sit here. Also, ensure you have a GitHub account because you are not copying and pasting this code. Like you have to change the username to your username, change the email to your email, and no, you are not going to expect any feedback. All right. So, okay, good. Sorry, this is where we are. All right. Now, what you have done is you have told Git who you are, but it's essential to know which of the Gits have you told. Remember, there's a local repo and there's a remote repo. Work directory, staging, local repo, all this is on your own PC. Remote repo is on GitHub. So if you notice what your command you did was git configure username, git configure email on your PC. If you are turned off your data, it would still run. It is not dependent on internet connection. Hence, it is not speaking to the remote repo. What you've just done is you've told the local repo, the local Git on your PC who you are. The next thing now is you also need to tell your remote repo that, okay, anything I push that comes from my terminal, like this is the identification. This is what you know to know. This is what you used to know when I'm the one making this push or making this change or doing any of this modification. So for that, we do this. I'll explain all this. But the reason why I am doing this is because for some people that have done programming before, on your VS Code, some people have never really done this procedure, because VS Code, you can sign in with your VS Code and then you push directly from VS Code without doing any of this, right? Because VS Code is going to use confirmation from your login. Good, and your lies away. What happens if you work on a headless machine? A headless machine is a machine with no GUI, where you cannot see, you cannot use VS Code, you cannot sign in a fancy way. In that case, you would quickly find out that VS Code does some kind of abstraction for us, handles things for us, and it would have been easy to do that, to just set it up with VS Code, right? But I had to like bring out this guide to set it from terminal. As per experience, a lot of even Raspberry Pi, let's not go too far, right? If you buy a Raspberry Pi, for those that are experienced with Raspberry Pi, most times you would quickly realize that you cannot really work directly on the Raspberry Pi. You can remove the memory card and maybe put your code via your laptop and put it back. But if you want to actually work on the Raspberry Pi, you need to see, you need to connect a monitor to it, you need to connect a keyboard to it. For people that don't know anything about this, it's going to like sound pretty strange, but you don't need to pay money to buy all those additional things if you work purely from the terminal. So you're not going to have access to a VS Code that will do all of those. These are things that actually happen in real life scenarios, and we have to adjust. So that's why we are going over this first. So I hope this actually works in Windows. I only tested it in Linux. Let's see, SSH keygen. Okay, it works. Okay, so what we are going to do now is all operating system. This is universal because it just worked. I just checked it now on my Windows machine and it worked. So we are going to do SSH keygen. Takes in T, which okay, I think I would have to explain. I'll explain that. Don't worry. 5519 C, and yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, please, I have a question. That
Yeah.
first command on your screen, that's god and git dot.
GT.
Yes, like what is it?
You know, I said yes, the session is being recorded, Emmanuel. You know, I said that were you here when I explained working directory? The working directory is that folder that is on your laptop. This folder where you're working, and then this Python scripts that we're working on. To answer your question now, this command is simply a command to create a Python script. To create any scripts, I'll show you, don't worry. But it might not work because you might not have gedit set up. I can do gedit, gedit t4, right? And let's say I want C++, for example. C++, I don't want Python. And I click on it and then this comes up and I can save it blank if I so wish. But you can see now that we have C++ here now, right? So it's just how I chose to create my file. It might not work for you because you have to install gedit. So you can use touch. You can just say touch another way dot. I can do HTML, anything, and then it just adds it there. This is just basic Linux administration. If you're on a Windows, just right click, create a new file, or you open Notepad, whatever, just create a file. That's the idea. Okay, so we say, okay, now you put in you've put in this command, you're going to get a response, and it's going to say enter file in which to save the key. For me, just press enter. Like, no need to write any many things, just press enter, because you can see in that bracket they've specified home, your username, which is cy63rx, a folder called .ssh, and the key, the algorithm for encrypting the key. So as you can see, you already have a default folder, so just press enter and leave it like that. Yes, for Anne, you are going to get gedit not found because you have not installed gedit. And please, you are on a Windows, so don't even attempt to install gedit. Is there gedit on Windows? Now I'm curious. Gedit for Windows. There is gedit, but you have to install it from store. So don't bother, just create a new file. My explanation for gedit was because somebody asked what command that was. It's not part of the program per se. Yeah, it's not part of the program per se. Okay. So please, how do we navigate to the directory we are doing this from? Go to your file manager, maybe go to your documents, maybe create a folder for the Aurora training, maybe call it robotic workshop, maybe create week 1 or week 2, and then add your new file. I mean, it's straightforward. It's just moving around your directory and creating. It's not like there's a special directory. Just create anything. After the configuration step, this is what you are going to do. You are going to run the SSH keygen. The command basically says generate a key. I'll explain why we are generating the
Sorry,
key.
am I running
Yes,
it on command prompt or on my Git?
okay.
This
I'm assuming
SSH.
I'm assuming your GitHub. I'm assuming your Git opened a new bash after installing.
Yes, it did. Yes.
Close that bash. Close the bash and go to command prompt.
Okay, so I should be running all these commands
Yeah, we are working in command prompt.
on my.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You can still do it on the Git, but no, I don't want to debug any extra thing. Just go to command prompt. So Eniola. Yeah, Eniola. Yeah, just press enter. You can see it has already given you a folder in the. Okay, let me make this a bit clear, right? Very soon we are going to actually learn how to read our logs, because the log is telling you which file do you want to save the key to, right? And then there's a default file in the center. Chris, what does that even mean?
You know, what's her name? Latifa said it's para. So it gave us para, like when you enter, it will bring para.
I don't even know how. Terminal, please, David. Terminal, David. Terminal. The Git class, are we having to do it on Windows first then? Okay, so I made mention that if you don't have your dual boot or your WSL or Ubuntu setup, you can come, because we are doing it on Windows, right? If you dual boot, you just follow the same procedure for your dual boot. Are we replacing email with our personal email? You are replacing email with the email you used to create your GitHub. So if for some reasons you use your school or your company's email to create GitHub, which I do not advise, then you are going to use that email for the GitHub, or you create a new GitHub with your personal email and then do that. Okay, so after the configuration, I think this is the last time I'm going to answer that question because we have to move forward. And every command we are writing, we are doing it on command prompt, not Git. Close your Git terminal. So for the person that said network, Jonathan Sani, this is the last command, 8:17 p.m. is for you, SSH, and do your thing, man. Yes, enter without passphrase, please. You don't really need a passphrase. Just enter without passphrase. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Now you see it has generated this kind of mesh thing. That's actually like a key. And I don't advise you to post that. I mean, let's see if I can do anything with it, but yeah, I don't advise you to post that. Don't delete them. Maybe don't screenshot them first. Okay. Hi. So the next command after the SSH, we are going to do an eval. I need to move faster. Okay, so for Windows first, because you guys are like majority. The only difference is just the way. Please, there's no passphrase. If you put passphrase, you're on your own. Because for some reasons, people even put passwords and forget the passwords they put, let alone a passphrase. So these are the next commands that will follow. Copy them one after the other. The first line, then the second line. Hello. Olamide, where are you lost? How are you lost? Just use VM so I can just talk rather, so I can hear what's your plight.
Oh yeah. So after entering this SSH keygen, then the email, I'm having issues saying generating public private key pairs. So like enter file in which to save the key. So I don't know what to do next.
Just click enter. There's a file in the brackets. That file is the default file where your key will be saved. What we are doing is to simplify what we are doing. You know, we have configured our name and our email. Windows does not have eval. One minute. Okay, we are using bash. We're using bash. Yeah, later. All right, so for the eval error for Windows, let's say Windows, this is the first command. Second command, and then the third. And first of all, you're not root. That's why you're being denied access. Open PowerShell as admin. Open PowerShell as admin. For those that are on Linux, it's pretty simple. The eval just handles it for you.
Sorry, but how?
Yeah,
Just to get it correctly, we're running this SS config on our Windows PowerShell, right?
what's config?
This Windows config SSH agent
Yes,
stats.
SS config. Yeah, it's supposed to run on a PowerShell. Give it a shot.
So an error message came up.
Watch error.
Yes, I think somebody just typed the error message on the chat box for you. Thanks.
Internal parameter error. Okay. Open command prompt as admin. Open command prompt as admin, not PowerShell. And then run the code again. I'm literally running it on mine. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Please, when I was asked to save the file,
It's saying
this
success, something like that.
yeah, it's going to send success. Then open the next
Um,
command, next tab, SSH agent. Once start the SSH agent. Victory. You asked me some minutes ago that they are asking you for file or folder for the SSH for the keygen, and I said just press enter. Like I've been saying it since, but somehow you said you went to create a folder and copy the directory to your command prompt, and you pressed enter. Well, you're going to troubleshoot your way out of that one. Because like I made it clear the procedures that are going to follow. Yes, but like I made it clear. So many people asked like 72 times, and I made it clear. What you've done now is there's a file now that I don't even know what's in that file or what's important in that file, but that file has been overwritten with your key, right? So what you are going to do is the simplest thing to do is just to run the command again, and then when they tell you the default, just press enter, right? That's the default thing. It's going to create a new key in the default location, or you're going to copy this file into the default location, but I assume that's a more difficult route because it means you need to understand where this initial location is. So just run the command again. Run the command again. My concern is what was in that previous file before you overwrote it with an SSH key. That's my own concern. Because now we don't know what's in the file. You've overwritten the file. This is why we don't really play around when we're in the terminal. Like when you're in the terminal, you can do everything, especially when you're running as admin. It's not your everyday Control Z. The file was empty. Lucky you. Okay, so to reiterate, for Windows, after you've done your config, eval is not recognized. Yes, you guys are using an inferior operating system. Sorry, but I just like picking on Windows. Open for Windows. Open command prompt as admin. Then enter the following commands line by line before somebody will pack everything and put. I haven't sent it yet. There's another command I want to just add since we're already on it. Fine. Okay. So everybody would be on the same place very soon. When mama at all. Good to go, A1. Unable to set config This is an installation problem. This Chimalobi, yeah, your program, the problem is not from you, it's from Git. It's from Git. See, just press OK.
I think I already had a Git. I'm trying to press OK. It's not it's not closing. It keeps
You had
repeating the
Git
same
before.
signal.
You had Git before.
I am guessing I did. I don't remember. But then I played around with all these things and I can't remember. But then I saw it was deleting a Git when it was installing.
Okay.
So I felt like I should have checked before I started installing.
Okay. Okay. All right. So different
Just keep
approach.
bringing the error message.
Yes, it's
Okay. Finally
repeating the
change.
error. Yeah, it's
Machine
repeating the
type
error, but
is
it's different.
Okay.
It's a different error. It's a different error that it's repeating. Actually, it's not the same error. And
Okay.
I mean, probably you don't know, but this was released like 35 days ago. It's not a stable build. There's like a stable build and there's latest. You just don't install latest just like that. Might sound nice, but they usually have issues. So what will happen is just you can go to Task Manager and kill the Git installer, right? That's one way to go about it. Two, you can keep on pressing X, but the problem is you're going to run into 300 errors. You are going to continue pressing X 300 times. So if that's fine by you, continue pressing X.
I knew it's not for me by me.
All right. See, somebody is saying, am I to proceed to pasting the public key? What can I say? If you want to proceed, you can proceed. But if you are going fast, be sure you are doing it right. Because it's just give me more things to debug. It's just going to give me more things to debug at the end of the day. Yeah, you can speak. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, after doing the second command, I can see no such file or directory. Is it because of that gedit stuff?
Send me a screenshot of
Um,
your terminal. Send a screenshot of your terminal to my DM. Let me understand. Because from you are saying gedit, I'm assuming you're on Ubuntu.
yes.
Okay. Send a screenshot of your terminal. Let me see what you've done. After the SSH add, SSH add key. Oh, okay. After that, just chill. We're going to move to the next one very soon. But no, I haven't passed it, bro. We did together. Okay, so let me do this with you guys now. So what we've done, let me explain again. Remember we said with git config, we've identified our email and our name, our username with our laptop, right? Now, in order to authenticate that, okay, we are the ones pushing or we are the ones uploading to the remote from the local knows us, that's fine. So what remote needs to do is, for those that know what an SSH is, two keys will be generated, a public and a private. And what happens is the private remains with you, forever with you, to be shared with nobody. And then they hold the public key. What happens is when you now push, your information carries that your own private key, but like you use it to like authenticate. I'm trying to explain this without going into cryptography because I can digress pretty fast at times. But just know that two keys are involved, public, private, and somehow they use. Think of something like this. There's a box with two keys, right? With two keyholes. You can open it and you can open it from the other side, but like both of them needs to be open before they actually come in. Let me paint the picture well, because like you have a box that has two keys to open it. If one opens it and the other is locked, the box remains locked. The two keys must open the box. So there's this smart thing that we do. Me now, I have the two keys. I lock the two keys. So now that box is locked. And then I send you the locked box. You have one key, you open it with your own key and send it back to me. And I open with final key and send it to you. There's this kind of movement that goes, but like that's how SSH basically works. So that we are trying to configure. This thing does SSH add and then SSH agents. There's an agent that does these movements with the keys and everything. And then we are adding our key to that agent. So I tell the agent, here, these are the two keys. So anybody that has the public key, which we are going to put on GitHub, will be able to like communicate with us. It's a simple way to say it. And your keygen command did not run. Your keygen Damilola, your keygen did not run. That's why there is no SSH. I can see that when you run keygen, so many parameters came out, like from the output. So I'm sure your keygen command is wrong. So send a screenshot with your keygen command, and then I'll move on to the next side. So the next side now, we now copy our public key. So what we do is, this is my terminal, like this is my screen, so I'll do it here. We go on GitHub. We assume this is your new GitHub, but I've done it on mine. But we come here, we go to settings. You see SSH and GPG keys, you click on SSH and GPG. So I already have a couple of keys there, blah, blah, blah. Then you create a new one, new SSH key. You put in the title. You can say like, I don't know, this is me, Mr. Me. Whatever you want to do, it's feel free. Now, authentication key. And then you paste the key here, and then you add the key. So that's the drill. Oh, someone said I should let him in. When did you leave? Private key is stored on your PC. Private key is not, at no point in time does the private key leave your PC. It's private. You've been back in town and we'll play basketball. If you fall off. Can I please explain again? I should explain the SSH again. I will explain just a moment. So Dami, the problem is, although it's very difficult for you to spot that, but the first command you ran, SSH keygen hyphen small letter T ed 25519 hyphen, it's supposed to be capital letter C. Like you're supposed to just copy the whole thing, but that small letter C is supposed to be capital letter C. So just that one thing has actually, like, will I say, scattered your whole workflow, because now you have to go back and do that. So you have to be sensitive when you are working in the terminal. Case is different. Eval is not recognized for the 74th time, right? Eval is not recognized. Do this instead. Victory, this is for you. That's how you go around. So I've explained how to create SSH key. Now, when you go there and create, back to what I was saying. When you come here and add, you have to add your SSH key here. This is where you add your key. But you need to see the key first. So you come here. Cats. Please tell me cat works on Windows too. Queen, run your command prompt as administrator. It's supposed to deny you if you're not admin. It's just how it works. All right, after SSH successful, right? For those people that have the SSH successful, this is what we will do. Cat. Let's see, cat. Oh God, cat is not recognized on Windows. Right. What is the Windows equivalent of cats? Yeah, not recognized. I just realized. Tracy, it just occurred to me that the command will be different on Windows. No SSH. So hold on, I am testing the new command ID ed to 551919.pub. Okay, so start. When I'm mad at all.
Wait. Sorry, please. I know you've said this, but sorry, I was trying to like
You go
figure out
talk
something. So,
plenty sorry today.
okay, please, that enter passphrase. I
Yeah,
think you warned against that.
don't put any
Um,
passphrase. Just hit enter.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Enter. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. If you run this start, please send me a screenshot. I want it to look like I had. Please send screenshots with the commands. Like I need to do it there. Cat doesn't work on Mac, so all right. Hold on. SSH keygen C ED 25519. Oh, I see. I see what the problem is. I see why they can't find it. I see why you can't find it. You can't find it because of like we need to use like a will I say a placeholder or a variable rather. Variable or let me put the variable. What starts? So that's the new start command. Yeah. So it's taking user profile. It's taking your address, not your address, your username and everything. That's the file is saved for the user on the PC. So user profile passes that user side. So that should work now. Yes, everything
Sorry, it
we're
took
running
me
is
to my publisher. Microsoft Publisher, and then it said Caron. It took me to my Microsoft Publisher, and then it said the file cannot open. But that was it.
Start. Do you have Notepad installed?
Not this.
Hmm?
I have Notepad. Let me check. Yes, I do.
All right, we're going to use Notepad shortly.
I have Notepad. But I ran this thing on my commands thingy.
Yeah, it's command prompt.
It just went to another line. Is this supposed to start anything?
It's supposed to show the first few, like this, the start of the document. At least that's what it's supposed to show. Publisher.
As I'm saying,
I
it
see.
was about to load
It's because of the
Microsoft
dot
Publisher.
.pb that is behind. Yeah. It's because of the extension.
I should take it
So
out.
I'm going to use Notepad. No. Don't take out the extension. The
Okay.
extension is part of it. You take out the stats and put Notepad. If you take out the extension, you won't find the file. Aha.
Let's put txt instead or what?
Yeah. No, not. Hold on. If you put txt, it won't find the file. The file is .pub. Any alteration to so you put Notepad in front. Now, if you use Notepad, it opens in Notepad. Start tends to, I think, from what I just noticed, if you use Start, it tends to, I think that first I was explaining how sophisticated Microsoft is. So I think what Start is doing, it first looks at the extension and now looks for the suitable application to open it. And that .pub is coincidentally publishers. So that is something. I mean, it's good. It's more like type checking for people that know what type checking is. More like some form of type checking for the file you run. But on Linux, cat just shows the whole line. So even if it's a music file, it's just going to show you the binaries, like the whole line, and it's pretty messed up. But Notepad should do it. Now, Notepad opens the stuff.
Yeah, I opened my Notepad.
Now, get one trick they use that here. We are to
my Notepad with a lot of AAA series, NZACI,
I'm going to
ZDII.
I know it's supposed to show. It's just a very long key. So we are going to copy from the SSH. And I think you stop before the email address. Let me confirm that. Okay. Copy everything, like exactly everything that you see. The whole, it's 3 parts. The cryptography type, that's the SSH, the actual key, and then the email address. So copy everything, like the whole stuff. Don't break anything, don't cut anything. Copy everything.
Hi, please, Pastor, can you please go over this, how we got to this place? I'm here currently. I can't see what you wrote there.
Somebody please that. I mean, well, it's a public key, but don't paste your key. What do you say?
Please, can you please help me explain?
Wait, should I put this
to me
plenty things on that?
What you wrote on your GitHub?
Wait, hold on, Tracy. Queen, what's up?
Please, can you open your GitHub page where you were before? I can't see what you wrote there. I wasn't following at that point, so I don't know if you can zoom in from.
All right. Let's like everybody should see. let's assume you have you've done the notepad and your key, and like you have your key now. This is the biggest I can go. Is this? Hold on. Okay. Can anybody see the text? Is it okay? So you come here, you go to settings. Shift this over. You go to settings here, and then your key, and then you create a new key. This is what you have. Your new key. I think last user, they're all authentication keys. They're all authentication keys. Last step. Okay, good. So you put your key here. Authentication, not signing, authentication, and then title, whatever I want to put. This is for my Arch Linux, whatever. So whatever, just put anything. So you put the key here, and then you do add key.
Please, where did you say we should stop the key at again?
Hmm?
Where did you say
What
we
did
should
you
stop
say?
the key at? Where did you say we should
No,
stop the
copy
key
the
at?
whole thing. Copy the whole thing. Copy the whole thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, someone said,
No, the network
wait,
took
hold
me
on.
out.
Samuel said he's a bit lost. Hold on. How do we get the key on Ubuntu? I'm assuming you have done the key generate. You've done the eval and then the SSH add. So for you, Samuel, it is cat. Cat is what works for Ubuntu. It doesn't work for Windows, as we found out. So we had to like look for what works for Windows. So let me drop this in the chat for you. Samuel, this is for you. Cat. Okay, so there are a couple of questions that was coming in. Who was asking?
Hi. So I was asking
Yeah, no.
this this multiple text that displayed on my notepad. Is that what I'm copying to paste on this add
What do you mean by
SSH
multiple
key on
text?
my GitHub?
What do you mean by multiple
The
text?
text that this text now that came up on my notepad.
Okay, okay. It starts with SSH, right?
Yes, SSH.
And ends with your email. Yes, copy it, the whole text, and then in this box called key, that's where you add it.
SSH. Hello, Bakio. Sorry, I lost you there. What did you say? Should I
Just
paste
anywhere.
it?
What we're talking about. So do you have your key now? Like, have you seen Notepad with your key?
Yes. So like, okay, that whole thing is the key, right?
Yes.
This
Well,
SSH, everything.
technically, the center one is the key, but like copy everything. Everything is the key. Everything. Let's just put it like that.
Copy everything. Do I
Yeah.
need to add a title? I think I need to add a title.
You mean here? Title? This is what I'm talking about.
Yes, on this add SSH key. on my GitHub.
Yeah. Title. What I actually prefer the operating system and my username. So because the key is tied to your PC, right? The key is not, if you use a new PC, you would have to configure that PC like to know is the key. Basically, the key belongs to your laptop. So anything that comes from your laptop, yeah, would you be able to interact with the repo. So for this was the operating system and my username. That's why I like keeping it, because like, so if you use another operating
Okay.
system, I mean it's just, yeah, you can use anything, you can use your name. Yeah. But ensure you are selecting authentication, not signing. Authentication is because, you know, I said the idea is we want to be sure that GitHub knows that we are the one that is pushing the code. That process is called authentication. Sorry, because like I said, okay, I'm the person. It's common computer terminology. Signing is different. Signing key. Don't think of it as signing in. You are not signing in. For signing, you are like using cryptographic hash to like sign your comments. That's a more complex kind of thing. That's it's not here. My key didn't start with SSH. Yeah, your your key started with SHA. What operating system are you on, please? And what did you do? I mean, it's fine actually. I guess your key can start from, you can start from that, but it's maybe you made a mistake in. Okay, go to the terminal. This for mines. Yeah. Okay, I've seen the terminal. Git config keygen c ed 55519 capital C. You did everything well. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing it's fine. I'm guessing it's fine actually. Provided you copy the whole thing, it should be fine. The key is the key. So are we all together? Have we added our SSH key? Okay, some people are sharp guy. More sharp guys. Successfully on GitHub level. Do I need to add a title for the authentication? Yes, you need to. It's not even going to proceed without a title. Someone said no. Did you try and add without the title? Did it allow you? Is that even legal? I mean, I don't want to try, but I don't have friends. But please add the title.
Excuse
Right.
me. Are you
Yeah.
referring to me? Are you referring to me?
What do you mean by am I referring to you? You are the one that said no, and you even put these side eyes. All I'm there's a problem. Oshe, you laugh now. You are the one that said no now.
Yes, because me, I'm still at the back. Like I
What village people movements do this? So because you are at the back, you said no. So somebody will know. Is it possible to change the title? Did you make mistake in title already? I mean, the title doesn't really matter. You don't see the title anywhere. You can try if you can change it. I've never thought of changing the title. What's your reason? Why don't you change the title? Mosi Semisolua. Sorry. Mm. Yes, you said you're at the back. Latifa, how far
Yes,
behind are you?
SSH keygen, the command I missed at first. Why
Okay.
you laugh?
So after that, go to the next command. You don't know the next command?
I know the next command. Like I'm checking to see if what I'm getting is correct. So I sent you a screenshot of
I haven't
what
seen a
I
screenshot.
got.
Okay. And it's correct. It's correct. I just saw it. It's correct.
Oh, I've been waiting
A lot of
for it
Yeah,
para will
to
not
I told you
show.
now.
So that
Eh?
Latifa, a lot of para will not show, so don't expect to see a lot of it.
Okay, just curious. Well, you can find out. Just try. I don't know. Somehow somebody, I don't know, how did you even manage to get open S? Okay. So I know what happened, Mines, right? Or Jonathan Sunny. When people were installing their Git, they were sending me screenshots. And there's a place that talks about what form of encryption should Git use. Normal open SSH or another one. There were two options. And I guided people. Normally the odd one is ticked. Or rather, will I say the incorrect one is ticked? Because Git is different from GitHub. GitHub has its own encryption that it prefers, yeah? And then Git has its own. Git can use any encryption, any form of encryption. So it gives you a choice. And I know that, okay, we're using GitHub, not Git. I mean, but we're using GitHub. We want to use GitHub at the end of the day. So for everybody that showed me their installation, I selected open SSH. Yes, you installed Git before now, I know, and during the time that you're installing, maybe you didn't know and maybe you just selected it, whatever the reason is. But I'm just telling you that's why you're having that problem. So what happened is you're going to uninstall Git, install again, and maybe be sending me screenshots if you get lost somewhere. Because no, wait. My assumption is every software is supposed to be modular. So the Git you've installed before should have a file somewhere that I can modify to change that thing, right? That's a longer route, and that is going to be done after the class. I can't start doing that now. So maybe if you want to follow along, you can uninstall and install back. But then you take into account that you have to start, time is not on your side. So I don't know. Just chill for me. I think that's the best thing. Okay, so I'm moving on. Moving on. So everybody have their key set up. Okay, yeah, good call. Just wait. Everybody have their key set up, right? And if you do something like this, SSHT is going to give you a feedback. That's just to confirm that everything is okay. So this is my terminal. I put in SSHT and it tells me, hi, Bakel, you've successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. Just forget about the remaining one. Just forget about the remaining, just the main thing. So you should see something like this. I'll show you.
Please check my own message, Joe. See what you said.
Yes, you have the same problem as Jonathan Sani.
What do I
Yes,
have?
and
What
I don't
problem?
think you didn't. Did you send me a screen? Did you send me screenshots? You didn't send me the screenshot of the
I was
page.
calling
So you sent
attention to
me.
it, no answer, so I just find my way.
Sorry. Oh God! After
Now we start
this
everything
night.
again. Maybe so.
Organization of the host cannot be. Please, what does PID means? I know the PID you're referring to, but I feel like giving you another answer for control systems. But the PID you're referring to is
Oh,
process
thank God, I'm not
identifier.
alone. With plenty where not they established.
Yeah, because so many people just chose the automatic option. Anyways, the problem now is we will not be able to proceed because no, we can proceed, but people will not be able to follow along. Hold on. See, when they tell you that thing, just click yes. Click yes. Tracy Phillips, click yes. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Just put Y yes and enter. Listen, me put Y yes and enter. Let me see what it throws back at you. You can see how life is so simple on
They say
Linux.
warning, no.
Yes, promise that you've got it.
Still cannot be established. Wait, you are successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide share access.
Yeah, you've seen it, Abi. After putting yes, that what they showed you.
Yes, that's
Hi,
what they
Tracy.
showed me.
Yeah, you've
Yeah, they
done it.
called my name. Hi,
You've done it.
Tracy.
Well.
But GitHub does not have share access.
Yes, but GitHub does not provide shell access. No, I'll leave GitHub alone. Azure provides that, but that's not within our context right now. Okay, a lot of people have gotten it. Yeah, so PID in this case, there's PID that means still enter in robotics, proportionality, proportional integrator, differentiator. That's we'll do that in like week 6. But the PID you're talking about now is process identifier. Yeah, that's what PID means, right? What's the meaning
Oh,
of
okay. Am I supposed
PID?
to be getting it? Because me, I'm still at
Yes, process identifier, process ID. What are you saying?
I said, am I supposed to get that
Get
on
what?
after typing eval, that command eval? Am I supposed to get anything like agent PID and
Yes,
some number?
yes. It has started the agent, the SSS agent. You're supposed to
Mm.
get that. Then after
So
that, now
I'll now
do add. Yes.
okay. Thank you.
But this thing had to wipe out Windows. Well, I had to throw away that window. Windows not straight. No. I mean, Windows is built for what it's built for, and they are partly good at what they do. So, yeah. Anyways,
Are we writing more code? Are we writing this line of code again?
no, please, oh, this is only. I should have sent this to our DM. This is for Latifa. This I should have sent this to our DM. Please
Okay.
don't write any line of code again. We're done. Now to move on to more codes. Good. So I'll show you a slide. We've done this. Everybody have gotten expected outcome. Hey, blah blah blah. You are successfully authenticated, and then some other things. Good to go. What we've done now is, at least now GitHub knows. Remember the flow, the whole workflow. We said our working directory, which is in the folder where we're working, and then your stage, and then your local repo, and then your remote repo. We've not pushed anything. We've not done anything. We're just setting up that identification system. Firstly, we did the git config so that the local knows us. And now we've done SSH so the remote knows us, right? So we now proceed to other things. This is workflow. This is the most let's say most commonly used commands. There are other commands, but we are going to start with this, and I will show you how we will do it. So from here onwards, everything happens in your command prompt with admin. Not like you really need admin right now, but just leave it as admin. As you can see, I have created a file with a folder rather, git class. You can name it anything you want to name it, but I've created it with 3 files in it, right? And what I want to do now is, these files are on my laptop. I don't even have version control on them. I can delete one, change one, and it's not going to be able to take me back to the previous state, which I explained why we need things like that. So at the end of this exercise I'm going to do, all this is going to end up on our GitHub repository. or our GitHub repo or our remote repo, the same thing. Now, this is a file, it's blank. This is also another file, it's blank. But this has hello world, right? So hello, I'm using GitHub. So in this folder, we can open in terminal. Now, terminal for Linux or Ubuntu, command prompt for Windows, the same code, because Git we are using, so it works the same like both ways. Now, the first thing is, let me put it side by sides, right? This is your workspace. This is your terminal. We have not created any local repo yet too. We just have this. The first thing you want to do is, okay, let's create a repo. This terminal here is on your local machine. I'm just pointing out the obvious. So we run git. Any command for our GitHub or git or whatever is always git. And git init, that's git initialize. And we've initialized the repo. So it tells you, using master, you can read all these things, you can choose not to read it. But either ways, we've initialized the repo. This repo is not the remote repo. As a matter of fact, if I go to my GitHub and I go to repositories and I search for Git class, I won't see anything like that, because this is my local repo for now. Now you can see this place, workspace. It is still workspace. It will forever remain workspace. If I choose to show hidden files, I don't know if that's even, I don't know why it's, yeah. Okay, show hidden files. You can see this. It's a hidden file. It was not there before. But because we ran git initialize, we've initialized this. So think of this file, this folder here, this one. Think of it as that your local repo. Think of it as anything you do, once you move it to your local repo, it keeps it here. As you go on, if you open this file, you won't see it too, but just think of it that way. It uses another kind of method, but let's not go into that. So what I'm going to do now, I've initialized my repo, meaning I have, let's come here. I have my working directory. I have my local repository now. Let's see, someone sent me a message. No, okay. Now what I want to do is, these are the things that I want. I want it to end up in my remote. This is my remote repo. I want it to end up here. So what I will do is, I will now do git add and then dot. Git add dot means add everything that is in the repo. Before now, let me show you the status of our repo. The status says no commit yet. Untracked files. Untracked means these files are not in your local repo. So whenever we someone said what? You're not seeing my screen. Please, can everybody see my screen? Have you guys been seeing my screen for like the past 10? Okay, you've been seeing my screen. Probably you might want to log out or log in again. Please, how do I create the files? Just create 3 files in a folder. I've explained that on 2 different operating systems already. So back to what we were doing. Again, remote repository. Our local repository is somewhere here. Working space. So status shows us that we have 3 files on tracked, and you can see all the 3 files here. Now git add sends it from your working repository into your local repository, and then git add. You can put full stop for all, but I want to show you something. Let's add only one file, git.python. Nothing happens here. Like your file still remains here. That's the good thing about version control. It doesn't just move it inside here. No. What it now does is like it takes a kind of like snapshot. Now, if I do git status, we are going to see that we have a different stuff. No commit yet. On track, sorry, no commit yet. Now we have untracked files. There were 3 untracked files before. 3 of them, Latifa, another way, Git. But now we have 2 untracked files, only Latifa and another way, because we've added Git. Now this has Git here now has been promoted. Is now changes to be committed. Add means, okay, we are putting it in our cart. Like, okay, these are the ones we want to put in our cart, or we've put them in our cart. Commit now moves it permanently to the local repo, right? Not to the remote. It's push that moves to the remote. So if I do git add full stop, now if I do git status, we can see that there is no more untracked files. We've added everything at once. I don't know if you guys are following me. If it gets a bit confusing at any point in time, just call my attention. Just talk and I will stop and I will go back, because I'm not really actively looking at the chat at this moment. Now, proceeding with caution, we have git status now. We've done git add. The next thing is, let me take you back here so you see where we are moving from. We're in our working directory. Now git add, we've staged it, right? We can unstage it to your terminal window. So that's the sad thing, right? My terminal is, I can only make it bigger. The text doesn't change. I can try and make this bigger, but let me see the preference. Let me see if I can make it bigger. See. Okay. I think it's fine. It's fine. So, yeah, we've done git add. We've kept it here. Then we now do git commit to move it to the local repo. Nothing yet. So we do git commit. But when you commit, you send a message. Whenever you commit, the idea of Git is we can go back in time. Now imagine you've done like 700 commits. You need like a message, like, okay, maybe say at this point I added something. At this point I removed something. At this point I did something, right? That's what you now call a commit. So you now do -m for message. And then at this point, what did I do? You must not list all the files, but let's say first commit, because this is the very first commit I did, or created 3 files. But it should be something meaningful. There are people that have this terrible habit of just writing anything. As you go on, you will find out that sometimes it's so difficult to write something reasonable. So doing this now, it tells you we have done what? We have done 3 files has been changed, You see them here. If we now do git status, what we get is nothing to commit, working tree clean. Now you see that we don't have all those other files. You see here, they were showing 3 on track, 2 on tracked. Nothing is there at all. You have permanently added it to your commit, to your local repo. if I come to my repo up here, and I still type git class, I don't see it because it's not here. It's still in my local repo. Now, at this point, we need to move from our local repo to our remote repo, because that's the idea. If it's on our local, we can only do the git on our local, but we can't do it in the remote. The idea is to get to remote. So what we do now is to push git push u, right? There's a little twist. The little twist is, as you can see, all my repositories, they have names. It's not like everybody's repository would have name. Front end, back end, Aurora, Blue RV. Repositories must have a name. But nowhere have we specified the name of our repository. I don't know if you are following me. Nowhere have we specified the name of the repository. So what we are going to do now is we can try to now define that, okay, this is the repository we want on the remote. Hold on. Okay, nothing. And we do that using this command, git set. You missed the working directory and now I can't follow again. Please, are we creating these three files in? This is taking offense. I'm not going to take any offense, but hold on. Let me just explain for the people that are following, so I'll come back, don't worry. But let people catch what I'm saying. Okay, so we want to add origin. This might tell us that we don't have a repo yet, but let's find out. So what this command do is git remote add, and then my user is Bakel, and I want the repo to be git hyphen class. And now we've added it. Now the next thing is to push to it. I can say git push. Don't worry, I mean, it's not as if everything was syncing like right now on the spot, but I would go over it because some people are even a bit lost. All right, it failed to push because it didn't find any git class, any folder like this, any website like this. So we're going to come to GitHub first, and then we add a new repo, a new repository. We call it git class, and then let's see, git class 23rd September. I will come into all this later, but let's create a repository. Right now, you can see this git bakel git class dot git. It is exactly the same thing we tried to push to git bakel git class, and it did not work because there was nothing like that yet. But now we've created it and we can push to it. Breaking office. Let's see, remote origin already exists. Why not pushing? How do I troubleshoot this? Hold on. SSH copy. A clone. Cd gits. A class. Hold on, I'm checking something. Touch bakel.tests. git add, git git add, git commit troubleshooting, git push origin main. Okay, so it worked. All right. I think I know what happened. Jawin, you're active, are you?
Yes.
Now let me run again from top. So the workflow, I missed something. I was to create the repo first on GitHub before trying to push to it. I don't think it's I don't think it works that way. It's the other way around. You create the repo first. So I've already used Git class, so I can't use Git class again. You create a repo here. If I try to use Git class, they tell me it's not available. So let's go with Git class. Okay, let's start from scratch. Come to your GitHub, create a new repository, Git class, take 2, and then corrections from Git class 1, also 23rd September. And I just make it a habit to put good descriptions, because you might come back to it after like some months and you are lost. So I've created a repository. This is the link. Now this is HTTPS, this is SSH. If you remember, all we're doing was SSH keygen. We did everything on SSH. That was intentional because there's HTTPS, but just know for what we're doing, SSH works best. Let's not go into that explanation. So you copy it. You see all these things here? You can ignore it. You can still follow this and it will work pretty fine. No problem. But you know, okay, yeah. This was the command I skipped. Branch. Okay. We've gotten our file now, right? We've gotten our website, not our website, our URL. So let me. So now, how do you get the? Let's get the working directory from start. Git working directory. It's just a folder, just like any folder at all. So this is your working directory. It's a blank folder. Then maybe in our case now, maybe we use VS Code. Since I used gedit and it got some people confused, you can use VS Code. You create a file, test.py. You create another file, test.c++. You create another file, test.c, and then we have 3 files. Then we can close VS Code. Now, mind you, we can still do this GitHub thing with VS Code, though, but the reason why I'm doing this first is so you understand how Git actually works under the hood. Because on VS Code, it's just one button, and you might not have VS Code all the time. How did I open VS Code? Jawin, you watch recording. I said you go watch recording.
My boss, I beg.
You watch recording. So
I'm big. I beg.
okay, so it took me when I was creating repo. Okay, so you know how to create the repo. At least you watched me till.
Yes, I know how to create the repo.
Okay. What do you mean by that's not the question? I beg. Simi Soloa. Sorry, but okay. So look, just create a folder. See, a workspace is just where your code is. That's what a workspace is. It's nothing fancy. So create a folder, call it I mean, nothing fancy. Honestly speaking, it's nothing fancy. It's just a folder. And then somebody asks, how did I open code? How did I open VS Code? I don't really know how to really open VS. I don't know. I open VS Code from terminal, code, and then dots, meaning open it in this folder, right? And then VS Code opens. You can see nothing fancy because that's the folder name, nothing fancy, right? And then I don't want that now. And then we add folders, we add new files. Again, test.py, add another file. We call it tests.c++. We add another file, test.c. Okay, good. We have 3 files. We close it. Yeah, you don't have VS Code. You can use Notepad. Honestly speaking, you can use Notepad. Just open your terminal. Open your command prompt, right? And then type Notepad. It's going to open Notepad. Or you maybe open Notepad where normal human beings open Notepad. So you open Notepad, you save it to your nothing fancy or whichever you've chosen, right? We have this here now. Good. And we want to now this is a working space. It has no local repo, no nothing. So we create the local repo. Open in terminal. There are 2 ways to do this. You can do it's saved as txt because you did not specify. If you open a notepad, you save it as maybe stuff.py or stuff.cpp. It's going to work on notepad. But yeah, you have to specify what. Even myself, you see, it's something that when I was opening mine on VS Code, I specified the extension. Right, good. So there are 2 ways of doing this, and the way that I was explaining was git initialize. Wait, let me show you guys. Hidden files is on, so there's no hidden files. But when we say git initialize, you can see the .git just comes up out of nowhere, right? So we've done git initialize, and then git add. Again, I explained you can add one by one. Let's say git status. It tells you on tracked files, this files has not been added. You can even see they advise you use. Sorry, my terminal is small. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now. I mean, if you add VS Code, it won't save as .txt. I'm guessing because you're using Notepad. It doesn't matter. On my own Notepad, it's thank you, Lisomi. Remove the .txt part. Not like it even matters right now, though, because that's not the point. Just get files. That's all I'm saying. Get some files. Throw some files in there. So git add. I can add just one test.c. I can do git status. It shows me only these 2 have not been added, but this has been added. I can then add. I can even. I mean, if you are jobless, you can list everything. If you're actually jobless, you can list everything. Test.py. It adds them all, and then I do git status. Everything has been added, and then I now move to commit it. Not a git repository. You've gone ahead. Ajay, ahead. What command gave you not a git repository? You have to initialize the git first. You skipped git init. You have to initialize the git first. If you just type, it's going to give you a fatal error. So initialize the repository first. I've dropped the command. Yeah. So so where was I? Sorry, good. So I'm in git commit. Git commit the message. The message I would put is hello. Let's say take 2, right? we have the message now. Now we've committed it. If I now do git status, like I said earlier on, you can see we get everything. Working tree is clean. All the files, everything has been pushed to the local repo. So after git commit, everything is on the local repository. Now the next thing we now do is branch. That's the thing. I forgot the branch the other time. Branch, the main branch, like specifying that we're on the main branch before you now add the remote repository, which is this, that other command. If you still remember the one we did the command, nothing happens, and then you now run git push u origin main. Hopefully this works. Okay, and now we have it already. So the thing was, I think I created, you have to create the repository first, maybe, but this is just the workflow. This is how it goes. So now you have this here, you have this. Now they tell you we're on the remote branch, like you've pushed your code to the remote branch. All you need to do now is to refresh the repo, and then you have test, you have test.cpp, you have test.py. So another way, the way I actually prefer doing it is, like, if I know I need to actually put things on my repo, I simply just create a new repo. I'll call this another way, and this is actually my own workflow. This just became a habit for me. I just copy this, right? And then I go to documents. Now, I don't create my workspace first. I just create my repo first. And this is where I know I want to put my workspace at the end of the day. So I just open it in terminal, and after opening terminal, I clone into it. So what happens now is, if I go to that terminal another way, it gives me my git, it gives me everything. Like, I don't have to do git init and all of that. It just gives me everything, and I can just simply add my files to it. I just go into the terminal another way, and I can like add my files to it, another one, and things like that. I don't think you initialize the repo, Queen. I don't think you initialize the repo. Try and initialize the repo, or send the error to my DM. This should like work pretty smooth for everybody. So I can do this again. Should I go over everything one more time, or we are good? Okay, I'll assume we're good.
Hi. So I think
Please go again.
Sorry, the last thing showing on my last code I ran was this git push, right? Origin main.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that's it now.
Yeah. So if you now go to your GitHub profile, you should see the repository there. You should see it there with the code.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. You go there, you should see it. Okay, so I'm going over. Wait, let me see something first. I need to see something. I think we can do this VS code on later. Yeah, we actually have a couple of things to do. It's getting pretty late. Okay, so let me go by everything again. You want to create your workspace, right? Let's assume you've already created your workspace. There are two different ways it would go. It can be that maybe you were creating a workspace first and then you said, oh, let me put this in GitHub. It's possible. Or you knew that you would want it in GitHub, so why not just create GitHub from the onset? If you are creating GitHub from the onset, you just head over to GitHub, you create a new repository, you call it my work, whatever you want to call it. You put in your description. It's not compulsory, funny enough. Now you have the remote repo. This repo stands remotely. As you can see, in this case, we don't even have a workspace yet. We just know that we need GitHub for this. So let's just create it. So you can follow all these processes, but I just prefer to copy this link. As you can see this stuff over here, I just copy it. And then I go to the folder where I want my workspace to be. I go to the folder. Maybe if I want my workspace to be in library, for example, this is where I want to put my work. I just create a new terminal. I just open in terminal and I git clone. I'm going to explain what git clone is along the line, but this is what I do. Clone just like copies it down. And you see that I have my work now. So now I have the remote repository, which is this, which is empty. And then I now have my workspace with my local repository. So this way now I don't have to start initializing my repository again. I'm running it from the remote all the way down to local and then my workspace. So I can open this in a terminal, and I can now say, okay, let me add some few files, dot file. So I have some few files here now, which is actually one file, but all good. Then I now do, sorry, I had the terminal open before. So these my some few files. I'll now do git add all, it adds everything. I do git commit message my few files, something meaningful, and then I do git push. We track our origin as main. I'll explain all these things later, but for now, just know this how it goes. And then it confirms for us. We refresh and we have a terminal. We have our online, our remote repository together with like everything. So the code is here, right? Good. Now, if you notice from this case, I created the repo first and then I walked it down. It's easier that way actually, because you create the repo first and then you do everything. Now let's assume, right? Let's assume that you already started working and like you've gone very far and you've gone very far. Let me just find if I have all these are repositories. Okay, let's assume, let's say gone far. So just hold on. Touch A, B, C, D, da da da. So let's assume you've been working for a long time. Please don't use touch. You're on a Windows system. Create a new file. Hold on, let me do something. Create files in terminal, command prompts. But Windows does not have something like that per se. And if you want that, you have to be in PowerShell. I mean, you can do type, you can do echo. Okay, let's do this. Let me do the next explanation on my Windows machine for you. So you see what I'm doing. Everything is the same. The Git command, the Git workflow, it's all the same. So we go again on the Windows. Share screen. Entire screen. Okay, so we have this. Okay, ouch, that's my key. Well, it is what it is. Good. You have your screen. Now you this is your desktop, right? These are documents, and let's say you have a folder for the training. Say training. So just like any other folder you have. Right, good. Now we're going to do two cases. The first case is let's say gone far, for example. Right. So in my terminal, right? So I know on Linux I was doing touch, but touch is here on Linux. But what Linux has is echo. Linux has echo, so I can echo blank into let's say a file.py, right? So you can see a file has appeared up here. The thing is, you just need to know the commands. I'm not saying you must do echo, right? You can literally just do new. You can create a new text document. You can say OLAD or CPP and whatever, but it's still a text file though. Or you can open in terminal. You can do code, and this launches code. And see, code has all these files here. And then what someone was saying was you can also rename this, and you just simply delete the at the back, and then it's a C++ file now. You can also add more files and go with hey dot I don't know which other extension do I know, HTML, hey dot CSS, whatever, right? So now let's say you've been working and you have all these files now, right? So much files, and you want to now add your repository. So you first of all, let's come over here. You go to your GitHub. Gosh, I have to log in. I don't have GitHub logged in here. Gmail, gmail.com. Then my passport's not connected password. Okay, good. So I have my GitHub here now, right? Make it a bit bigger. So this is my remote repository kind of thing, and this is my workspace. My workspace does not even have anything at all, right? So I come over here, I create a new repository, and I'm like projects. Working on my projects, right? So I do that, and I create a repository. So now I have the repository. What I will now do is, since I want my repository to be here, right? My local repository to be here, because it's from here that I will now push to the remote. I would open in terminal, and in terminal now I would run git initialize. Before I click on this, let me show you my where do you check for hidden items on Windows? There's a preview. No, it's not preview. Options, view. Okay, yes, show hidden items. Windows. Oh God. Okay, so my hidden items are being shown here. So the moment I run git initialize, this guy pops up. You see him down there. So that's the take that as the remote guy. Let's put it like that. So now we have our git initialized, right? But these three files are not yet there. So we now do git. Let me show you git status, and then you see, oh hey, these files are untracked. Git knows that there are files here, but the files are not in the cart, so it doesn't concern him. So we do git add, and if I put dot, it adds everything. So if I do git status again, it tells me that we've added all of them, right? They're added in carts now, but they are not yet in the local repository. We have to commit them to be in the local repository. So we do git commit, and then we send in a message we tell them what the message is, my project, right? And it tells us this. And then if we do git status to check the status of things, it tells us, hey, there's nothing to commit. It's a clean working tree. I mean, everything is all good. Good. Now, what we do is, with this confirmation, we have our local repository. Our workspace is forever here. This folder is the workspace. It's always there. We now have our local repository with everything committed into. The next thing now is to move from local to remote. So we're on the local now. These are remote. We now need to tell GitHub that we need to tell the local where the remote is. And to do that, we do git remote add origin. And then, you've created this guy. You now copy this, right? But before then, we have to add this branch. I'll explain branches later, but this is probably why it failed the other time. So we had a branch, the main branch where we're sending it to. And then we can now go for the git remote. I can just copy this since we know it. Git remote add origin, the project, which is the remote listen. So we have this git remote add. Then what this line does is we are now telling our local repo where the remote is. So we now know the remote is in Bakel project, and I will push to that remote. Git push u origin main, and then okay, I didn't finish setting up all of this. Permission denied. That's because I have not set up my key here. So for you, it should go pretty smooth. So yeah, that's the workflow. That's basically where it ends. For you, it's going to run because you had set up everything. I have not set up my stuff. So do we have any questions regarding this little demo we just did? Any questions at all? Okay, so I'll take that as no question. Let us skip a few slides and let's go to the tax, because here I was supposed to explain some more complicated things but I think we can do that later. It's already like over like 2 hours now. So the task is different from the assignments. The task is something everybody can complete here with what we know, but the assignment is a bit different. So for this task, it's fine if you do it now. It's fine if maybe you wait for, because I think we need to have like another class, another refresher on this Git, because I need to finish up all the things so you guys get a more concrete understanding. So we have like this whole week, and then we'll do robotics arm too. So yeah. What I want to show you guys now is this. I'm going to switch again. I'm going to stop presenting, and I will come here. Good. So up until now, all I've been explaining was we are moving from our own local to repository. We want to be sure that, but if you notice, it's still within ourselves, or it's still within you, your local repo and your remote repo. James is local repo and his remote repo. Me, my local repo and my remote repo. But that's not all that GitHub has to offer. So let me quickly rush over the collaboration part, because that's what our task depends on. Now, this is what I will use the task to explain. So the matter of just replicating what I am going to do now. So there is a repository. Okay, I cannot recreate this because I cannot fork my own repository. It doesn't work that way. Give me a minute. Okay, I'll do this another way around. So let me teach you guys what like a fork is. Let me search for something. I'll search for, let's search for Ross. Okay, so I have let's say 100. So this is somebody's repo. This is another person's repo. This is somebody's repo. This is somebody's repo. Okay, so let me let's just select this one. This is someone's repo, and I want to use it, or I want to contribute to it, or I want to do something like that. So I will now fork the repo. Fork means to create a copy of your own repo. We said we are going to collaborate on GitHub. So if somebody maybe James has his own repo, right, and you want to work with his own repo, or contribute to his repo, or collaborate with his repo, you would have to make a copy of his repo. That's what fork is, because you cannot go and like start putting your things directly into his own work, right? He still has rights of his repo. So you fork the repo and just leave it as the same name. You can change it, but just leave it as the same name. It gives you the same name of the repository. And then this is this optional. And then copy the master branch only, because it's like the main branch. And I create my fork. Takes a while to load. Now, should take a while. Good. Now I have exactly this guy's repo in my own repo, right? So his own, if we go to his own, the name of his repo is his username and the actual name of the repo. My own now is my username and the name of my own repo. Good. So now I have exactly of these, right? What do I do now? If I want to contribute to it, I will now have to clone it. So I forked it first to get it to my own remote. It was on Mr. A's remote. To get it on my remote, I forked it. Now it's on my remote. I can't work on it directly on the remote. I would have to clone it to my local and then work on it. When I'm done, I will send it back to my own remote. So I would copy this. I would go to the folder that I probably want to work on, my workspace. I'll open in terminal. I'll run git clone. I would put it, so it clones it for me. Now cd means to change directory. I would go into the directory. Now if I do ls, yeah. So now if you come here, I say Ross. Now I have all of these in my local workspace. And if you can notice, this is exactly the same thing with what is on the repo. So we see mobile, 2D nav, IF, odometry, setup. We see all of them, everything exactly as it is, right? So now let's say I want to make my changes to the README file, or I want to like create a new file. So I open in terminal. Any change you want to make at all. So I make my change. I put, I just put bakel dot txt. It shows here. Now if I do git status, it's going to tell me this is the only thing I've changed. Let me make it bigger. This is the only thing I've changed. The git, the bakel. Everything else is okay. This is the only thing I've changed. So I now do git add. I add it. You must not run git status every time. I'm just doing it so you guys see the changes as it's happening. And then you do git commit you now do my addition, maybe that's your contribution, and then git push origin, no, git push track origin main. Don't start fail to push refs, git status. A branch is ahead of origin by 1. You have to create a branch. You have to create a branch after you. You have to create a branch. Sync fork. Okay. Cloned, git status, git commit, git checkout branch, git checkout branch addition, switch to a new branch addition, git status, no stuff, okay, git push origin addition. Yeah, that's how it works. So when you clone, at this point, you cannot push to main because like the repo originally is not yours. So you have to create a new branch, which is checkout B addition. Like you can name this anything. It could be my contribution, whatever, but you have to create a new branch. You now work on that new branch. So they prevented me from pushing directly to main, but I'm allowed to push to addition. So git push track origin addition. So I can push to addition and not main. And then you can see immediately I ran that, this thing showed, this wasn't there. Addition had recent push 2 seconds ago. That's the addition I did. Now this shows automatically, and if you click up here, it tells you to send in your, create your pull requests. So a pull request is, if you create the pull request, this guy, the guy that owns the original repository, he will see a notification on his side that somebody has made this addition, and he will now make the choice to merge the addition. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. This way now, he would now determine if your addition makes sense, if you can add it, if you can, something like that. So that's the whole workflow. I'm not going to create a pull request because I basically just did rubbish on his repo. So I don't mind going over this again because it's like the first time. You guys can take a while to like absorb this whole thing. But Git is something like, do you know how people avoid and dodge Git? Like, it's not something you can always avoid. So even on certain applications, they tell you must have Git because it can be intimidating, but you just need to understand how it works. So are there any questions exactly? Are there a lot of confusions? So everything is clear with everybody. Hello, am I audible? Okay, so with the majority, everything is clear. Okay, meaning, let me drop the task, meaning you people can somehow do the task. So I've already provided the steps in the task, to be frank. It's pretty straightforward. I can send you the slide, but yeah, I think I'll just have to send you the slide with the task because it has some links and I want to follow the link. If you know me, you know this are my friends, right? Certified everywhere. And got it on resume. Take off LA. Crazy, pull up on. That's the first tax. It's just one tax per page, actually. It's just one tax. Okay, so we'll still be communicating on the WhatsApp group if there's any challenge or anything that somebody ran into. Then I'll still be available to take questions. For now, I've dropped the task. just to go over all these things and make sure everything is straight. I don't know what you guys think. Or I should just leave you guys to. Yeah, I'll have the recording would be available in just some hours. So yeah, I don't mind having a recap class. We can start doing forward kinematics now if you have strengths. I literally have the slide for it. We can start doing it if you have strengths. I mean, someone like me, I can keep on talking about robotics for like days back to back. So see, I'm completely lost. I don't die. Okay. Yeah. Even if I start talking about forward kinematics now, you guys are like very tired. So this is what will happen. Forward kinematics is on Tuesday. It has to be on Tuesday, compulsorily, because depending on how long it takes for you guys to grasp the concepts, the plan is forward kinematics on Thursday, inverse kinematics on Saturday evening. So asking. So what will happen is tomorrow is the only free time we have between now and Thursday. So tomorrow evening, first of all, you guys watch the recording. I'll drop the recording around kind 12 p.m. 1. So I'll drop the recording. You guys would watch the recording. I know some people will not even watch it. But in the evening of tomorrow, maybe 6, 7, we'll like schedule, and then we'll have like another class. But the thing is, this thing that is confusing you today, it will be clearer as you guys go on, as you use it, as you continue. Even for me that I've been using it for a long time, I ran into 2 errors. So it's not like it's all in your head and everything. So it takes some time, and you would always get one error or the other. The problem is can you resolve the error, and hope the error isn't like a blunder or a big issue, that kind of thing. So for those people that understood, or those people that already know Git before now, the task should be pretty easy. If you don't understand it, at least attempt the task, and then maybe try and watch YouTube videos or do something else. I don't know. But whether or not you get things done, we would have the class tomorrow evening, because I feel like I have to still explain it better and show you guys the ropes and all of that. So we can call it a day, right? Very well now. So shall we make noise in the DMs? Yes, I'll send recording on forward kinematics, but we've not done forward kinematics, so there's no recording on it. The plan was to do forward kinematics today too, but GitHub took the whole time, so the whole time and excess, because it's like 3 hours now. All right, so ending the recording.